Hey everybody, my name is Adam. This is a year in the life of a 40-year-old youth pastor, and today we're doing Leadership Essentials Part 10. When I was in high school, my church would take trips to this lake in Pueblo, Colorado. Well, at this lake would be water skiing, but there was also these cliffs. They were kind of like went up to the lake, and so one day we're just hanging out and we see one of the people literally jumping off the cliff. And these were not small cliffs. They were between like 30, 40, 50 feet high. But as soon as that one person jumped off the cliff, everybody else was like, oh, that looks sweet, let's go try it. And so we all figure out how to climb up to the top of the cliff, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, we're gonna do it. And I remember I walked up to the edge of that cliff. I was so confident, I was ready to go. I walk up to the edge of that cliff and I look down, I'm like, oh, shoot. All of a sudden I wasn't so confident. All of a sudden I was kind of scared, kind of freaked out, like, oh my gosh, that's really high, this is really scary. And it took me like a long time to build up the guts and build up the courage. And this dude's, he's running up, jumping off, going up, jumping again, and several people, other people jumped, and I eventually was able to get up the courage to jump, but it was scary. It was like, oh, once I jumped, I was like, oh, that was awesome, whoa, and then it was easier the second time, the third time, and all that kind of stuff. But what I learned on that day is the people who step out often stick out. But here's the thing, is that oftentimes stepping out is uncomfortable. In order to step out, you're gonna have to get outside of your comfort zone. And today I want to teach you this one very basic leadership principle that's going to apply whether you're a rookie leader or whether you've been leading for years and years and years. See, when I was in high school, I used to lift weights almost every day. I'd go into school early and lift weights. I was into sports, and so I was always lifting weights. Well, as a result of always lifting weights, not only lifting weights, but pushing myself to lift more and more and more, what happened is most days of my high school life, my muscles were sore. Like, it was uncomfortable, but what happened is I got stronger and stronger and stronger all along the way. The thing with building muscles is it's not comfortable, but through that discomfort and getting out of your comfort zone, you're gonna see growth in your strength. There's a leadership principle that I want to talk about today that we can pull from the fact of people who step out of their comfort zone and also from people who get sore muscles, and that is this: there is huge value to getting outside of your comfort zone. If you are going to be a great leader, you need to spend a lot of time out of your comfort zone. Take risks, try new things, step out, do things that are scary sometimes. You can't just sit there. You have to go and do things. You have to go to those places that are unknown. You have to go to those places that are scary. You have to do the things that are uncertain and that make you nervous and that are risky. If you're always living in your comfort zone, chances are that you're probably not leading at a very high level. Chances are you're not growing nearly as much as you could be growing, and chances are you're probably not having as much fun as you could be having. The times in my life when I've seen the most growth, both personally and leadership-wise, are usually, like most frequently, those are the times when I find that I was way out of my comfort zone, or at least partially outside of my comfort zone. See, growth oftentimes just doesn't happen in our comfort zones. So I want to challenge you today to think about stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing it on purpose. You see, leadership often requires you to step out, and stepping out is usually uncomfortable. Leadership also requires that you grow, and oftentimes the growth that you need to continue to lead at new levels is going to require you to get outside of your comfort zone. The comfort zone is the enemy of great leadership. And the dilemma that we face is that we naturally, as humans, we gravitate towards what is comfortable. Like, we want to be comfortable, especially as Americans. Like, we want our cars to be comfortable, we want our beds to be comfortable, we want our couches to be comfortable, we want our houses to be comfortable, we want our churches to be comfortable. We are so comfort-driven as Americans, and just the natural tendency is like, we gravitate towards what is comfortable. So, but if you're going to be a great leader, you need to purposely say, I'm not gonna allow my life to just go towards what is comfortable. I'm going to purposely push my life towards going outside of what's comfortable. I've had many mission trips where everything was uncomfortable. The food was uncomfortable, the temperature was uncomfortable, the beds were uncomfortable, the climate was one of I'm totally out of my comfort zone, and it was oftentimes in those settings that I saw the most growth in my life. And that's the reason why many people see mega growth in their spiritual lives on mission trips, because they're so outside of their comfort zone. And this can be applied to so many areas of life. When you move to a new town, it's like everything's new and uncomfortable, and oftentimes you see a lot of growth in those times of your life. When you're in a new relationship, it's less comfortable, and so you have to grow a lot in those times of your lives. If you want to see mega spiritual growth, try fasting. Fasting is one of the most uncomfortable things that you can do. That's why Americans hate to do it, because Americans love comfort. Fasting uncomfortable, we don't do it. But I'm telling you, fasting is uncomfortable, but through fasting we can often see spiritual breakthroughs happen that don't happen any other way. A couple years ago, I did an Ironman triathlon, and it stretched me way out of my comfort zone physically and fitness-wise, and I saw tons of growth in a lot of different areas concerned to my physical health and my nutrition and like all that area of my life. And so I've seen over and over and over in my life that when I get out of my comfort zone, I see more growth happen, and more growth means that I'm going to be better as a leader. A famous saying out there in the leadership world is, if you want to reach people who nobody's reaching, you got to do things that nobody's doing. But if you're going to do things that nobody's doing, it's going to require you to step outside of what's comfortable. And that's going to take leadership, but when you do it, it's going to cause growth. So my challenge for you today is to do some things that are going to cause you to step out. This might be risky. You're going to risk failure. You're going to risk looking like a fool. You're going to risk a lot of different things. But through stepping out, some of those times will succeed. I've seen this happen in my life in the last year. I've been preaching for like the last 18, 19, 20 years of my life, but this year for the first time I said, you know what? I'm going to start preaching with no notes. It's kind of the culture of the Youth Ministry Day to Bible Church to not preach with notes, and so I just jumped in like, I'm going to try this thing. And it stretched me in ways and caused me to grow in ways in my preaching and teaching and in communication that haven't happened in many years. Like I grew like crazy in my communication this year because I just stepped out and said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to preach with no notes. And that had risks to it. What if I forgot what I was going to say? What if I totally messed up what I was going to say? Like all these, what if I look like a fool in front of all these teenagers? Like all these, and then really those are small risks, but there are risks to the level that it caused me to grow as a teacher and a preacher. And it took a lot of effort and took a lot of work, but I grew as a result of that. And so here's what I want to leave you with at the end of this video is the challenge to get outside of your comfort zone. So I want to challenge you to think about this. Am I comfortable? If your answer to this question is yes, then I would encourage you to do things that are going to stretch you outside of your comfort zone that will then cause you to grow. You want to grow as a leader? I know I want to grow as a leader. Think of one or two specific areas of your life, maybe where you need to be stretched, where you need to step out, where you need to take a risk. Maybe there's something that you know needs to be done in your leadership setting, but you've been nervous to do it, or you've been scared to do it, or you've been hesitant to pull the trigger on it. Let's just pull that trigger, do that thing, take that risks, go to that place, whatever it is, do it. Get outside of your comfort zone. Let this video be an encouragement to you to stretch yourself. Don't do what's easy. Do what's hard. Get out of the comfort zone. As a result of that, I believe God's going to work in your life in big ways. You're going to grow in big ways. And then God will use you to be a leader in whatever your setting is. The times in my life when I've been the most outside of my comfort zone, those have been the times of my life when I've seen the most growth. Those are the times in my life when God has done such big and significant things in my life, and I want that to happen for you. So let me just encourage you and challenge you. Let's get outside of our comfort zone. Let's step out. Let's take the risks. As we do that, I believe God is going to move in big ways, and you're going to grow as a leader as well. So let's get out of our comfort zones. Let's grow as leaders, and let's see God show up in significant ways. Thanks for watching. Get out of your comfort zone, and I will see you next time.